Hey, hello everyone. Just want to say thank you for clicking onto this video, and I just want to thank you all my subscribers. We are moving up pretty fast, and I just want to thank everyone who's joining this channel. And I'm more of an action person. So what we'll try to do is if you give me about 10,000 subscribers, you're gonna see a lot of action happening. We'll be on the land and we'll be working together. I'm not one of these guys who's scared to do that and that. You're gonna see a lot of things happening. And I think in my next there's a video coming up where I'm gonna explain why I started this channel and what I want to see in a couple of years time. It's a journey. I'm not gonna finish everything that I want to do. Life is too short, but I would like to set like a foundation. Someone else can take over from that. It's just like, I'm not saying basically in what I'm doing, what we end up doing, people see. If something was to happen to me where I'm no longer here, a kid that heard what I said might think of, oh wow, this is actually possible, and take over from that. So I'm just trying to put the word out there, enlighten people, and hopefully we get to work together and create a world that we want. I've decided to make this video because I put my last video. I had most people liked the video, and there was a few people that didn't like the video, but I also got some interesting comments. One of them was more like this person was just trying to send me like, I forgot to ask whether it was okay for me to mention his name, so I'm not going to mention his name. But he sent me this information and trying to clarify about what happened between RENE Marcus, the bag, and Haman, and they're trying to, and this person in particular was actually quite involved, and I'm going to talk about what he said, but some of it, people have criticized me, and that's okay. I take constructive criticism all the time. So here, this video is just, I'm gonna go through some of the comments that people made, because that's how we learn, and we're trying to learn from each other and try to work together. For me, I'm not trying to spread about. The whole point of me creating this channel is to create sort of a bridge and a sort of an education platform where we can learn about a few things and idea sharing. My idea is, I might be wrong. Someone else brings in new ideas, or they see from a different perspective, and that's how you end up with the perfect, that's how you move forward in sort of unison. And what I'm trying to do here is not to create, when I talk about this, the Bag family and RENE Marcus, and Art Cathys and all the Haman and all of them, I'm not trying to create like separate people. Oh, this is a RENE Marcus group, and this is a Art Cathy group, and this is the Bag group, and this is a Man group. That's not it. We're not trying to create some Crips and Bloods kind of a situation. It's not like that. That, like I keep saying, that has already been done in the past. And if we're not careful, we'll fall into that again, and there'll be no progress. To find out is come up with a way in which we communicate with each other better. Because the truth is, I want to see RENE Marcus successful. I want to see Haman successful. I want to see the Bag family successful. I want to see Art Cathy successful. I want to see I want to see all these people that have exposed themselves. They've put their hand up and say, you know what? We're gonna take this message and we're gonna share it with the Black community to be successful. Because we don't have our own TV channel. Some of you guys are learning more about Africa through these people, and that's the whole point, and it's great. But it's not just, we don't want to just learn about Africa. We want to create an Africa we can all benefit from. Because like I strongly believe, of every Black person on this planet is connected to the destiny of Africa. I've seen every Chinese person get respected because of what China has done in the last 30 years, when initially they were called subhuman and they were called dogs. And I've seen how developing China has changed the perception of how people look at these people. Now, I strongly believe that is going to happen to Africans if we could develop Africa, because we have a reference point where we can go. We created this, and people can see it. And I think it's going to be better for all of us, but we need to work together, because here's what we all should know. There's always an enemy. There's always a person who doesn't want to see black people rich, who doesn't want to see black people successful. Just like there was someone who didn't want to see the Chinese become what they've become. And we have to learn how to work together when it comes to that, and fight that enemy. Sometimes the enemy is not, is actually not like some foreign guy or whatever. It's in us. The enemy is in us. It could be in our mentality. And these are the things we are trying to expose. It could be in the way we talk. If we are talking of just distraction, someone becomes successful and we look at them, we're going, oh, okay, he was probably practicing juju and whatever. Instead of going, dude, how did you do this? And then it teaches us and we learn from that and also try something and become successful at it. And together as a group, we help each other to rise up. That is the whole point. So I just want to make that clear. I don't hate RENE Marcus. I don't hate Haman. If anything, when it comes to Haman, I've subscribed to his channel and I'm watching his videos. And when I watch his videos, I'm watching the ads as well, because that's that way I support him, for him to get paid. We know how this YouTube thing works. That's the whole point here. With that being said, here's the thing. I'll stand by what I said. I think RENE Marcus had a hand into Haman's departure from the bag. And people are saying, no, this person who sent me this long comment, more like he was sending me an email, said this person asked the bag about, there's a video where the bag goes to this outdoor food place. They buy the food wrapped in newspapers and they go out there and they eat. And that's the good thing about the bag. They become Gambians. Some of you guys wouldn't even buy that street food. The bag buys street food. They don't care. So they bought this food and this lady was selling and they went on their way and they said it was beautiful and it was great. It would taste delicious. And that's them. That's them just being real, So this person saw that and he emailed the bag and asked them if he could send some money to the lady that was selling that food. And this is what the bag said. They said, okay. So this person said, oh, no. They don't have a phone number, so they can't contact you. They said that. And they also suggested, if you send us the money, we can give it to the lady. Okay? I just want to explain something here. If you are in Europe or you are in the US, the way things happen, the way things are done in those countries is not the way things are done in Africa. There's people in Africa right now who don't have a cell phone, and they've never had a cell phone in their life, and they don't see the importance of having one. Most of them are surrounded by the people they love. They do it old school. For us, these days we're sitting to each other and texting each other. For people in the West, these guys talk to each other like normal human beings are supposed to do. So what the bag told you, that is the truth. If you are listening to this, you know yourself. That's the truth. They didn't lie. The best way to actually sometimes either send money to someone else is to send money to a person close to them. Even just phone numbers. I got some of my family in Africa who, if I want to talk to them, I gotta call someone and and this person had to go and fetch them and say, you know what, I'll call back in 5 hours. When do you think you're gonna be able to get to him? And then they have to go fetch this person and then bring him to this guy or have them there with the phone and then I talk to them. That's normal. The bag didn't lie. There was no lying in what they said. And then this person goes on to say, he said something about sending Haman, whether it was money or shoes, I can't remember exactly. And this is, you have to remember, the bag did ask Haman, and they've said this on their channel, did ask Haman to find to come up with his own YouTube. But before it gets to that, right? So the Bag family replies to this guy, and this guy didn't like the fact that he had to send money to them for them to give money to her, So in the end, he thought, oh, the Bag family were dodgy. So he tried to contact someone from the Gambia, who just happened to be Rene. So he got in contact with Rene, managed to get in touch with this lady. And it turned out the lady only spoke Mandinka, so she couldn't communicate with this person. So they had to go and find someone. Out of all the people in the Gambia that Rene knows, it just happened to be Haman. Cool. I'm cool with that. But I just find it a little bit, So Haman had to translate for this lady, so that she can communicate with this guy who was sending her, sending her money, So that set up this process. Now, here's the first thing, because he doesn't sound to be so happy with the bag. I've explained to you two things. The bag didn't lie about what they said, and if you wanted, you could have sent that money to them. And you could have said, I want you to make a video, or I want to be, you could have contacted them through WhatsApp video. I want to be there when you are giving this person the money. And they could have done it for you. Secondly, the bag, they have a job they're doing there. Okay? They're there, they work every day. So their job is not for them to be going around people in the Gambia trying to give money to all the guys you want to send money to. But also, you realize one thing. You didn't see that lady at that kiosk selling the food through Rene. You saw it through the bag. It's the Bag family that has exposed Gambia to the rest of us. It's them. Let's give them credit for that. These people live like Gambians. They don't choose and this and this. If anything, they promote. Most of you guys, like I said, wouldn't even be able to eat the food on that street because you are so, this food. Now, the Bag family does that. Let's give them credit for that. It's the Bag family that walked around. I've seen most of their videos. These people were literally walking around in the dirt around the Gambia just to showcase the place. The ugly and the bad and the ugly and everything. And they were able to showcase all that through their own effort. Let's give them credit for that. So when they say, send us the money, and you guys start thinking, I don't trust them or something like that. Dude, they put themselves on the line to bring Gambia to you. Like you've never seen it before. No one else does it. Not Black Sea, not RENE Marcus, not Art Cathy. The Bag. They go there. You've seen them go to the markets. You've seen them go to and they buy stuff and negotiate. They've literally single-handedly advertised Gambia. I don't even know why the government hasn't contacted them. I don't know if they have, but if they haven't, it's the government's loss. Because they've single-handedly brought Gambia to the rest of us. Single-handedly. Let's give them credit for that. Let us give them credit for that. Some of you guys are going on about stuff that's not important. And this is what I'm trying to avoid. We need to find a way to communicate to each other better. So then after that, the man goes, he said something about helping out Haman. And the Bag family were cool. The people were sending money and they'll give the money to Haman. They never took Haman's money. I think there was like 200 Dilasi that they took. That 200 Dilasi, they had to take it. Because the banks, if you've ever sent money to Africa, whether you are using they take something out. So there's no point in them receiving all this money from various people, and every time they'll take the money out, they use their own money to pay for that. They can't work like that. This is why we have to give them credit. Some of them, people are going, the Bag family, they look dodgy or something like that. No. You've only come to really see the true Gambia, most of you, through the Bag family. And as black people, you need to support them. And there's something I like about Rick. He's put his word out there. You know what his dream is. And this is why I think he's going to be successful. Because he speaks it to the world, to the universe. And the universe responds. And he's honest about it. You've seen his ups and downs. I don't agree with everything Rick says. But that's cool. You know what? What's his main goal? His main goal is to be independent, is to live in Africa. This man wanted to move to Africa in the, I think in the 80s or something. You know, so he's been wanting to do that. You know, he even changed his name to an African name. You know, so I like, if we could have 20 people like him in the Gambia in 10 years time would be a different place. You know, would be a totally different place. If we had 20 Rickies in the Gambia, it would be a completely different, that country would be turned around. There would be businesses, black-owned businesses, you know, but this is what we have to support them. We should be supporting them, you know, good or bad. They're just people. But you can see this man's dream. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he said, but I respect his ambitions. You know, he's ambitious. He wants to do it, and he believes in himself. He believes in himself. He could do it. Him and his family. You know, and you can see they've already explained what they want to do and how they want the bag to look like in the future. You know, and this is why I'm saying we need to support people like that. Because honestly, if they can be successful from what they're going to do, when they become successful with the bag, that could actually be sold. The same sort of idea could be sold in different parts of Africa, and it's going to benefit our people. You know? Because of that, I would like us to support the Bag family. We should support people like them. Just like I would like us to support RENE Marcus. I just think personally, I think the way RENE Marcus comes across, I think she should be doing more for Gambians. She has a website, and this is an idea I have. She has a website, because you've seen the Bag family they go to. They've tried so hard, instead of even, and they've in some of their decisions in trying to put independent contractors their priority. They've lost a lot of money. You know, most of us who could have just gone a proper contract and all those things, and this contractor might be paying these locals crap money, but the Bag, they go straight to the locals. I support that. Any man who's doing that, any man or woman doing that, any family doing it, I'm going to support them 100%. You know, because I've seen, like in the Western world, people that work for what we call, they work for themselves, you know, which some of them, you could be like a plasterer, you could be a plumber, you could be an electrician, you know, and they do that themselves. They go, they're just, the word is self-employed. It's not really like, it's business, but not in the context the way you understand it. They're just self-employed. So they work, they do their 12 hours, their 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and they work and they go out there. And that what makes the economy tick, you know. So instead of you working for someone and get something, I don't know, $40 or something like that, you work for yourself and you get $100 an hour, you know. So, and that's what even Ricky, they try to do. The Bag family are trying to do, just work with contractors, local contractors. Some of it hasn't gone well, but in the process, they've managed to find people that they can trust and rely on and work with them. And I think we should all applaud that. You know, I think personally, for RENE Marcus, she lives in the UK to begin with. And then secondly, she has she runs this way, she does like real estate in the Gambia. I could have loved a sister to have another sister in the Gambia doing that job for her, and then they're posting on her channel. If this person could go around and show the houses and all these things, you know, because she's in the Gambia, this person should be in the Gambia, and then they post the videos on her channel. You know, that way she's promoting that person or the lady, or could be even two people, and people could send money, could be sending money through RENE Marcus to these other individuals, but I haven't seen her do that. You know, all I've seen is the Bag family showing us local contractors and the troubles they go through, so that if we think of going to the Gambia, or if anyone thinks of going to the Gambia, they know what to expect and they know how to go about it through the mistakes and the things the Bag family have gotten right. The problem I have between RENE Marcus, Haman, and the Bag family is not about them becoming successful. I would like all of them to become successful. But what I know Africans, and I know how people do things in Africa most of the time. You know, if you see someone start becoming successful, they're going to start putting a bug in your ear. You know, the Bag family even said when they went to see this doctor, the doctor spoke to Haman and said, don't mess it up with his family. You know, and we know Haman said he was getting paid $4 an hour. Most of you guys, this is what I'm saying, I'm telling you, most of you guys in Europe and in US and all these Western countries, $4, oh, I think it was $4 a day. $4 a day. For some of you guys, you're thinking, oh, that's nothing. No. Look at how much people get paid in the Gambia. They get about, I would think the Gambia, they probably get about $1.20, $1.30 a day. You know, so this person was getting $4 a day. You know, so he was getting paid enough money. They didn't do anything wrong in that area. Okay? But what has happened is, so this person that sent me this long comment said you wanted to help a man, and even that he had to go through RENE. You know, so the fact that RENE is always coming in, but if the Bag family ask you to do things their way, you're already thinking you don't trust them, but you trust RENE, who is not even part of the, it's not, RENE did not introduce you to the lady at the kiosk selling food. RENE did not introduce you to Haman. We all came to know Haman through the Bag family. If it wasn't for the Bag family, RENE was not going to be helping Haman, and Haman would be nothing. Would be whatever he wanted to be. You know, but he's in a better position now because of what the Bag family did for him. Because they brought him in and they showed him, you know, they showed what he was. They could have edited him out if they wanted to, but they didn't. They showed him, and they showed him what he was doing. And also they've even said a lot of things they were going to give it to him to run, you know. But here's the thing, RENE, it's obvious. You can even see in the way if you've watched the interview, read between the lines. It's very obvious what she was trying to do. You know, if you can't see it because you're blinded by where you live, I can see it. You know, and the reason why I'm passionate about talking about this, because I've seen this something destroy people. You know, I've seen my cousins lose their jobs because someone goes up to them and tells them, like, you know what, you're working for a phone company. You know the way they take those phones to the warehouse and blah, 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 blah. If you could take even 10 phones, you know how much money you'll be making every month? You know, and they keep telling them, eventually they fall for it. And 3 months later, they found out and they lose their jobs. You know, there's always that person that starts putting a bug in your ear and start destroying what you're trying to do. You know, and I feel like I wish a man well. Like I said, I've subscribed to his channel, but that's just me. Every time I see it's a black person, be it in the US, be it in Africa, or whatever, and they're talking about, I just don't watch the videos. I subscribe, and where I can, I try to watch the ads, which I'm doing with a man's videos. I'm watching them and he seems to be doing fine. And I want to see a man do well, but I don't want us to have that. I would prefer us, you know, I'm not in control here and I'm not like a moderator for these people. I'm just trying to express my views. I'd like to see a situation where we don't try to self-destruct. You know, because this has happened before and it's going to continue happening if we don't sort of find a way to communicate to each other better. You know, we've always been victims of this because of infighting. Once you let infighting come through, or people trying to go behind closed doors to try to, you know, move people from one group, say, you know, I'll give you more money and all that stuff, then it becomes easy for someone from the outside to destroy us. You know, Tupac and Biggie would be alive today if Tupac and Biggie just sat down together and talked it out, but they never did. They left room for someone from the outside to come in and destroy them. You know, Liberia, Africans in America get given land in Liberia. You know, they go back there, there's the locals. There's a bit of tension. But instead of them sitting down and sorting it out, they let it be like that. And eventually, an outsider came in and caused more separation and divisions. You know, same thing. 1917, the English Empire takes over the Ottoman Empire, part of Palestine back then. Yeah. Before that, the Rothschild and many Jews in Europe were buying land in Palestine. I know today there's so-called Israel, or, you know, I don't want to get into that, but they were buying land in there. the land was peaceful. The people that, the Palestinians that were there, they were selling the land. They were not using. The Rothschilds bought big areas of land there, masses. You know, and you know, the Palestinians there, they will triple the price, and you know, for the Rothschild, if you know this family, they're wealthy, one of the wealthiest families in the world. They were buying all these things and everything. The transaction was peaceful, and the people were already moving there, and it was peaceful. You know, but then the British takes over, and guess what? They see that. You gotta see, and I'm just saying this. And I don't care what people think, but the Jews were in Europe for 500 years. And all the time, almost every 100 years or every decade, something was happening to them. There's a reason why Hitler said that the final solution. You know, so there's some people in Europe that didn't like the Jews. When the Jews were trying to buy land back in Palestine, went there and started putting a bag in the ears of both sides and selling them guns, and the infighting starts. You know, and since then, it's just continued on. You know, we've fallen for this for so many times. I just gave those examples. If we let ourselves create this infighting, and this is a small incident, but you guess what? This is what gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I've also seen a lot of people from the US who I think who support the bargain for obvious reasons. You know, talking about how RENE Marcus is trying to do this juju stuff. You know, I had some weird comments. First of all, voodoo, juju, witchcraft, or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's as big as you guys make it. You know, there's been a misunderstanding about this thing. You know, was what you have to realize, voodoo, whatever you call it, witchcraft or juju or whatever, some of these were just African ceremonies. You know, they were African ceremonies that, and I'll say something about this, because I don't believe these things are as bad as you guys put it. And as someone who grew up in Africa, I'll give you my experiences, right? Let me just break this down. First of all, I just want to say, every time you see there's a voodoo ceremony and people are going with their eyes as if they are possessed or something like that, find out what they're burning. There's always a fire and they're burning something. What they're burning are hallucinogenic leaves. And most of Africans are herbalists. You know, they know these things. These are hallucinogenic leaves, right? And what they used to do, that you can have those, you can take those hallucinogenic leaves and burn them anywhere. Let's go. There's a football match in the US. You go to the stadium and burn that stuff. I tell you what, every person in that stadium is going to start seeing something. You know, they'll see donkeys talking. They'll see, you know, elephants with human heads and all sorts of things. You know, because it's hallucinogenic. You know, and what used to happen in Africa, this used to be a ceremony. So something like today, people smoke weed. And when they smoke weed, some people see all sorts of things. They hear someone whistling and they hear all sorts of stuff, you know. So Africans knew these things. And I haven't really looked into this, but I know someone the channel you can go to. It's Dynasty Mir. His channel is called Searching for Uluru or something like that, or Uluru or something like that. But Dynasty Mir, you can check it up. I think he looks into this a lot. But this has been my experience, you know. So, but when people see these people dancing and you know they look like they're possessed, everyone just gets scared, you know. I witnessed this in Africa, you know. When I was a child, I've never been convinced of this. From the time I was a kid, you know, they used to tell us not to go and play out, you know. And I lived in a village. You know, for most part of my early part of my life, I lived in a village. I was born in a village, and they used to tell us not to go play outside at night. You know, because apparently these little kids who are like really tiny, about maybe that big, who are like witchcraft. They used to play. Apparently at night they would come out and play, and if you kick it, it would go tell the mother or the grandmother, who is a human, obviously, like, you know, a human being who's now like a witch or a voodoo practice or whatever, and the mom will kill you or something like that. to me, that didn't make sense. So I wanted to meet some of that little thing. I'll go outside and play. I never met not a single thing. It was just a tactic to scare us from going outside at night. I figured that out at a very young age. Secondly, there used to be times when, this is back in the 90s, this was popular back then. But I'll tell you what, this is what they used to do. There used to be a witch doctor. A witch doctor will come to a village and he'll be if you have a problem, or I have my auntie died suddenly, or funny stuff happened before my auntie died. I think someone killed him or killed her or something like that. And the witch doctor will come here, there, and do all this stuff, and they find out who killed them. And something ridiculous used to happen, and I've seen this with my own eyes, right? And I was a kid, and as a kid, this didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand how my friends were so convinced about it. Because it's like I could see between the lines. Something was wrong. There was a time this woman was like very bubbly, very talkative. She was a little bit older. She wasn't that old. I think maybe she was in her 50s or something like that. And they said she's the one, something to her husband, because her husband now can't speak. He couldn't talk. And it's because he saw some voodoo stuff, and the voodoo stuff shut his mouth. Now he can't talk anymore. That's why he's not talking. So we're going to get all this voodoo stuff. But before they start, this woman, like I said before, she's a very bubbly person. But before they started getting all this stuff, the so-called voodoo dolls and all sorts of things that coming out, they made her drink this concoction of different herbs and all that stuff. And then after that, it's like after she drank that stuff, it's like this woman went numb. She couldn't say nothing. And then they'll start bringing out this stuff, and they'll show her like, is this yours? And this woman was just looking like that. And obviously, as everyone knows, if you've ever been to court, if you can't speak and the other person is speaking, it's more like it's admission of guilt. So everyone was going around, oh, she can't even talk. But I thought, something is funny. This is a very bubbly woman. How come she can't talk? And this only started after she drank that concoction. And at that, my mind went, bing, there's something in that drink that has made this woman's numb. Literally numb. But then I've seen the transformation over the past decades in Africa, where the same people, these witch doctors used to be very charismatic people, and I've realized at that time, this was paying. Now, as Africans are starting to realize that this maybe is not as magical as it looks, it's not a lucrative business as it is. So the same people that could have been witch doctors in the 90s now are the pastors in the 20s, because that's more lucrative now, as more people have moved towards that. So you find all these charismatic people and people pay their offerings and all this, and these people are becoming wealthy. Back then, it was being a witch doctor that was wealthy. You get my point? Personally, I've woken up to this. I don't think voodoo, juju is as powerful as we say it is. It might not even be anything real about it. Because here's the thing. Right? If voodoo was so powerful, the voodoos and all these people who practice it, they could have done something to stop 12 million Africans leave the continent in one of the worst situations. Imagine being put under this ship. That place was so smelly, just the stench itself would kill you. Going through all that, and the voodoo people didn't do something to bring either thunder or some crazy stuff to happen and kill the people that were taking them. They never did it. It would never happen. I even saw another one where I think it was in Liberia or Sierra Leone, where some British soldiers got captured by some local warlords. And the British sent the army there. But the warlord was like a voodoo had this a believer. So we knew that the British were coming. So he made sure his soldiers went to see this voodoo lady. And she told them, oh, you'll be invisible to these people. They won't see you. You can just pop up at them and chop their heads off. You know what? It didn't work. Because when the British soldiers came there, these guys were coming out as if they are possessed. And they were just taking them out. Pow, 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 pow. Where is the magic of the voodoo? It's not. All this idea, people can be poisoned. I get that. And there's also evil people. I get that. And, I'm not into this spiritual. No, there's evil spirits. I get that. But some things get exaggerated. I've lived in the Western world and I've gone to some African dance groups. Because you know what? Africa or black people, we are very energetic. You can see in our dance, we are energetic, we are flexible, and if it stomp the ground, we're going to stomp it. Very energetic. Just that scares, shakes some white people. And I'm saying this, oh wow, she looked like she was possessed. Now, imagine in the early years, the formation of, let's say, Europe, they take these slaves, and there's a bunch of Africans there celebrating their voodoo ceremonies. Imagine how that would look to some foreign person. It will scare them. And that's why they banned it and they became against it. But otherwise, I've never, ever, there's nothing anyone can tell me that I can debunk. That's just my opinion. Everyone has got their own opinion on this. But I feel like there's a reason we've turned against our ways to accept other people's ways. And we've also we've started to believe this thing where everything about us is evil. Our traditions, oh, that's evil. Our this, oh, that's evil. But the only person who sees that as evil is someone who's come from the outside. Because to them, maybe it looks evil. It's these some people that are trying to make us bleach our skin because apparently black is beautiful. There are some people who are trying to make us put stuff in our hair like they advertise, like click advertise in South Africa. And we tend to believe that. But we can't go and say, wait a minute. What's wrong? Something is not right here. Who's evil? The guy that separates families, rips babies off their mothers, and takes with them on the ship and takes the mother goes get taken by this person, the father goes taken by and whips people and chops their legs off. And what's more evil? And I think as Africans, this is some of the things we have to start thinking about it. As black people, what is evil? We need to define that. Because I've heard some really interesting things about this. I go to Brazil, South America. Some of the Africans there, they've kept their tradition. And I tell you what, every dance that's called Latin today was introduced by African. Tango or Shango in the Uruba tribe. Then they go to Argentina with the mix of the locals and then they make it in what is known as tango. But initially, it was just the Africans that used to do that. And they used to have their Shango ceremony where they would dance and stuff. And then they added something to it from the environment they were in and it became tango. Today, it's like it's an Argentinian sort of a symbol. Unfortunately, they don't tell the African story about it. That's because 3 million people, 3 million Africans got put through this extermination kind of process in Argentina, where there's all sorts of things that was happening to them there. They sent them to wars with other countries where they were not well planned, so they can just get wiped out, and they gave them diseases and stuff like that. But today, our tradition, tango, is still there in Argentina. There's people in Brazil and other parts where that practice Brazilian capoeira. The Africans in Brazil started to use that, first of all, as therapy. Secondly, they realized it was an art that they can use to defend themselves against the people that were attacking them. And when they did that, capoeira was banned in Brazil and it became evil. And to a lot of people it didn't make sense, because when the guys were doing capoeira, they would hang out together and it's like they would chat. It's more like going to a barber shop. If you're black, it's like therapeutic. You go there and you talk about stuff. And to them that didn't make sense. How can this be evil when it's making me feel so great? And able to defend yourself, to protect you, which is what every man should be able to do. Defend yourself. That cannot be evil. And the guys resisted to accept that capoeira was evil. Today, it generates income for a lot of people in black people in Brazil. It's eventually it's been accepted into the mainstream, but they had to go through a lot of people died defending that, and they decided not to get convinced that it was evil. It's the same thing. I've never seen anyone get enslaved by people that were practicing capoeira. You know what I mean? Like, someone goes up, all these capoeirans go against one person and grab that person and from their families and enslave them because we gotta define what evil is. You look at the other African religion they have in Brazil and some parts of South America called Candomblé, where their gods look black. That in itself is empowering. I think it's called Candomblé or something like that. I've never heard of a group of Brazilians who practice in Candomblé go to another place and enslave those places or beat them up and do all these crazy savagery things to them. I've never heard of anything like that. So how can that be evil? And this is what I'm saying as Africans. We need to wake up to a lot of things. We need to start questioning things. We need to start questioning why we think a certain way. Why is it that everything about us has become evil? We need to start questioning that. We've been worshipping from 70,000 years ago. If you look at Botswana, there's stone carvings there that are 70,000 years old. That shows people worshipping. Those people never did any harm to anybody. It's peaceful. So what I'm trying to say is start questioning all these beliefs and stuff about us that makes us evil. I don't think RENE Marcus is practicing juju or voodoo or anything like that. Even if she did, it's not evil. And I think we need to start questioning that. We really need to start questioning that. Because a lot of things about these things, they can be debunked. It's like going to a magician and believing everything the magician did. Because I remember even magicians in Africa at school, the guys used to be convinced. Oh, you know what these guys do? They go and sleep in graveyards. That's where they get all these spirits. And this guy one time was practicing magic, was a so-called magician, came to school, and he's put this wire that has gone through his head, and he's put like a bandage around it. And there's like a bit of blood on both sides. And to me, it's like I could see through. I was a kid then, and I thought, that's ridiculous. That's not magic. All that guy did is get a wire, bent it, put it like that, comes out here and put a bandage around to strap it in, to hold it, and put a bit of some, I don't know, could have even been a strawberry juice on both sides and make it look like blood, as if he's pierced his head. That's not magic. But my friends were really convinced. He's a magician. That's what I'm saying. We got to start questioning things. We have to start questioning a lot of things. If there's a peaceful people in this world, it's black people. We've always been peaceful. Always. Always. And I'll stand by that. And the reason why I said you can watch Wadamaya's time in Swaziland, they go to a place where they've designed the way people used to live pre-colonial. And you could see the houses there. They didn't have locks. They didn't have these huge locks like we have today, barbed wire fences. They didn't have any of that. Because no one was going to steal. Everything was just perfect. It was peaceful. If you think I'm lying, you look it up. Wadamaya in Swaziland. You look it up. Or you can even look up, I think there was a time even they were in Kenya. I think there was something that was set up like that. There was no doors. Try to sleep in a place without any doors today. Post-colonial. It's done something to us. And we need to start looking at this and finding better ways of thinking and understanding ourselves. So going back to the topic, I don't think RENE Marcus is practicing any of that. And if she was, there's nothing bad about it. We need to start thinking. We really need to start thinking. So, just to try to I probably went on a tangent there, but just try to say something here is that, Haman will support him. Let him do great in what he's doing. The Bag family, let's support him. Let's support them. Let's help them achieve what they want to achieve. RENE Marcus, let's support her. Let's help her achieve what she wants to do. But what we need to change is the way we interact with each other. Let's look at the people. Let's look at each other as if we have one enemy. because I tell you what, England and Germany, they have issues going back decades, right? They don't like each other very well. That's why you see every time there's a match between England and Germany, the hooligans crash. It happened in France when they had the World Cup there. It even happened in Germany when they had the World Cup there. They actually had to put these two supporters at different groups. If you are Germany, you go there. But believe me, if China was to attack Germany, England will go and help Germany. So what I'm trying to say here is, let's put all this bickering aside. Right now, the goal is to support every person that's enthusiastic and wants a better Africa. And let's all work together. That should be our goal, right? We need to start coming together. Look what's happening in the Congo. The Congo has 200 trillion, listen to that, $200 trillion worth of natural resources underneath it. We are watching that country, and we've been watching that country get raped and raped and raped and raped. And all these things get stolen and taken away. And we're just watching. Everyone just says, oh, the Congo, the Congo, the Congo. It's benefiting people from other countries. I hear some people even say, oh, Google and Tesla and whatever, they're benefiting from cobalt that's been taken from Congo, and and some of the miners are dying, and the Congolese locals, they are dying mining this. Oh well, Google, Tesla, whoever you want to call them, they're just doing what they have to do to survive, to make that money. What are you doing as Africans to protect your resources? That's what we should be focusing on. Right? And if we were together right now, so I keep telling people this, $64 billion gets sent to Africa by the diaspora every year. Let me just repeat that number. $64 billion. Okay? Gets sent to Africa every year by the diaspora. The only thing that brings in more money into Africa than the diaspora is oil. And now, considering the price has dropped, I think the diasporans are actually the biggest income that Africa gets. So then and there you realize what our power is. If we had that 64 billion together, even just half of that, we can go to the Congo. And sometimes, because everyone they want to do things by these tokenized. Sometimes we gotta do things by force. Because things were done to us by force. And if we have to sort of re-educate people, sometimes we have to do it by force. With that kind of money, we can go to the Congo and say, you know what? We want to protect what's ours in this country. We can sit down with the president and come up with programs that help them keep most of the money and help the locals benefit from this cobalt. Because if you see these miners, it's sad, man. It's really sad. And you wonder what's happening. What's the president doing? What's all of us as Africans doing? This is the richest country in terms of natural resources in the world. And it is in our hands. And we are letting everyone take everything. And though we are doing it, we're trying to complain there to Google and Tesla. Stuff them. Let's go to the Congo and close it. I'm pretty sure there's only so many outlets that the trucks that are taking the cobalt can use. If so, we can be able to sort of block that and make sure nothing leaves that country without us getting the right money for it. Bring some radar. If we see any planes flying out that we don't know about, bomb it. But we're not doing that because we've been meant to believe the way of doing it. You gotta go and complain there. No. Sometimes we need to go and think locally and do something there, And that brings me back to even some people who still comment about Art Cathy insulting Gambians and stuff like that, And this especially in regards to hygiene. Oh, she insulted us and insulted our parents and all this stuff. Art Cathy didn't insult anybody. She just said the obvious. She just said what she saw. And it wasn't just Art Cathy. I remember the Bag also did this interview where the lady said the same thing. Like she experienced something. The hygiene just wasn't up to scratch. And I can tell you what, people have obviously been talking nicely about this for the past 50, 60 years, and nothing has changed. So now that it gets spoken about it overtly, as harsh as it sounds, it might bring change. And sometimes we have to do this if we want to go forward. We have to do this. We have to say, you know what, we're going to change this. And as harsh as this sounds, we need to change how, we need to get better hygiene-wise. I even suggested something. I had this chit-chat with one person about, I'll give an example. And there's another brother from the US who even sent me a video he did with, I think, Nei, this Ghanaian guy. And this brother, everything he said, I agree with. He's so well informed about Ghana. And he went to visit there. He even met Nei. I did this interview with this guy. And he talked about how he was listening on the radio, and they were talking about how the streets, they were so dirty, and the drainage system was badly clogged up and all these things. And the guy said, you know what? I'll put my hand up and give me 20 strong Ghanaians, which will be very easy to find. And we'll go and clean up these streets. We'll do it for free. That is the attitude we should all have in Africa. That's the attitude we should all have. I said something, I'm like, you know what? When I was in high school, I was the president for a small group, I think. And I used to organize every now and then, my group, I'll take them to go and clean the local clinic and the local hospital for free. We used to do it. And that's the spirit we should have. And I can go on about this hygiene. Some of the experiences I've had is just nasty. And we need to change our people. The streets in the Gambia are dirty, just like the streets in Zambia, just like the streets in Kenya. The only country that can say they have clean streets is Rwanda. How come Rwanda has been able to do it? Rwanda, they never imported any ideas into that. They just went back to the way Africans used to do it. Back in the day, we used to work for free, for a common goal. I know this is the 21st century, and it's not sustainable for everyone to work for free. However, sometimes you have to work for free to achieve something. If you've ever been a teenager, like the way they used to do it back in the day, where a teenager will start working, initially they'll work for free, and then maybe after 6 months, sometimes even 1 year, they'll get paid a little bit, and the money went up, and eventually they got to bigger money. Sometimes that's the procedure. In China, 30 years ago, they used to make people put up these buildings on credit. They used to make people build, because they said once we build the buildings, companies will come. And then once we start renting these things, we can pay you guys. And the Chinese were going there and to work. Pretty much they were working for free. But the government managed to put something in their head to say, you know what, this is the future we want. And right now, we can't afford to pay you. Today, this is why you see the Chinese government supports its people. This is why you see there's Bank of China almost everywhere there's Chinese, anywhere in the world, to fund, because these guys put in the sacrifice. And I suggested the same thing. I'm like, if you go to Ghana, the current president has managed to say, a school is going to be free, which is great. Free education, But then, once the kids are not in school, like on holidays, what are they doing? Nothing. So why don't we put them to work? Say, you know what? You're getting that free education. In this world, there's nothing for free. So what we're going to do is, everyone, you have to do maybe 100 hours of community service. We'll provide breakfast and lunch for you. And the streets will be clean. We could do the same thing in the Gambia. Our youth, if you are an African youth, be willing to work for free. That's how things start. Sometimes when you're working for free, even if you're not working for free, you're getting something from the knowledge. And that's more important. You can come and work for free. Even like, let's say for me, I can say, come work for me for free. But I'm going to teach you how to do programming. You know what? After a year or so of working for me for free, you can go and set up your own business. And you didn't really work for free. You're working for something, and that's going to generate you income. We need to change that mentality of just, because a lot of kids, there's nothing else to do. Like if you look at in the Gambia, there isn't much to do. Where I grew up, most of the time we were doing nothing. All we did is complain about the government. The government did this, the government did that, the government did this, the government did that. And eventually I'm going to talk about my life in the coming videos, and there's a lot of things I want to do, but I'm trying to find time so that I can be setting up my videos properly. So I can be, when I talk about stuff, I even show it to say this is what I'm talking about. We have to change the mentality. We have to tell our kids to be able to work for free. Sometimes it should be, the money that we think we could spend on fixing the streets and the roads and all these things, sometimes let's use that money to build up trade schools. So we can tell these kids, if you want to do this course as a mechanic, like I said, like you want to be a web designer or something, we'll provide this for free. In theory, however, we're going to need you to do 200 hours of community service. And I tell you what, our streets will be clean. We have to look at how Singapore does it. I think it's mandatory there for kids to go to do 1 year of military training. Because it's a small country, and everyone has to be ready to defend it. And people do that. We have to do something for our country. Let's not just sit down there and blame the government, the president. Oh, the president, they've stolen the money. No. It's because the only reason why the presidents in Africa are the way they are is because the community that raised them, that's what they taught them. That's what they taught them. Okay? So here's just a recap of what I've talked about. I know I've probably spoken about a lot of things, but let's support RENE Marcus, let's support Haman, let's support the Bag family, but let's change the way we interact with each other. Secondly, we've been given the richest continent on the planet. I don't care where you are, whether you are African American, African Brazilian, African European, African Australian, whatever African you are, your destiny is connected to Africa's destiny. So what I'm trying to say is find a way to help Africa develop. Because once that continent develops, you have a reference point. And people will look at what Africa has become, and then they see that in you. That's the sort of service you're going to bring to any place, to any company. Okay? I'm not saying, Americans move to Africa and all those things like that. No. That's not me. I think for me, just like a lot of people have dual citizenship, a lot of countries in Africa, you're going to have dual citizenship. Try to do something in Africa and use the money you are making in America. If you want to build a house in Africa, that's fine. If you want to do business in Africa, that's fine, as long as you are doing something in Africa, even if it's just visiting and using hotels locally and stuff like that. You are doing something. Let's change our continent. Let's make it a better place for everybody. But we need our help. We need especially the diaspora. I just told you $64 billion the diaspora sends to Africa. Together, we could be buying some of these countries. Zambia is only worth 20 billion. We could buy the whole country if we wanted to. Uganda, I think it's 26 billion. Zimbabwe, I think it's 10 billion. So we could easily be buying some of these countries, or in other ways, have more influence. Where we can go there and sit down with the presidents and tell them exactly how we want to plan things. Help them how they can change their viewpoint. Because some of these presidents, that's all they need. They just need to change their viewpoint. Because the only viewpoint that has been taught to them and put in their head is of begging. We need to change their viewpoint to be that of becoming independent and have inner pride in ourselves. and let's support people that are willing to move to Africa and set up businesses and all things like that. Let's support Africans that are becoming, or black people that are becoming billionaires, because with money comes power. Imagine if Jeff Bezos was black. Jeff Bezos, if he was black, he could easily go to the Congo and say, you know what, I hate how things are happening here. This is our continent, and I'm going to spend half of my net worth to try to help you turn the country around. And you need money in this world. We need to start making bold decisions. We need to be a little bit overt and be selfish. Let's not try to always be nice and always be nice, always be nice. Yeah, let's have that combination. Maybe sometimes you need to be nice, but let's also accept that, sometimes we don't need to be so nice. The other thing is, let's learn or agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, let's be together. Thank you for watching my video. And I just ask you to subscribe and press that like button. And help me get, mainly I want 10,000 subscribers. Once I get to that level, or once I have that many subscribers, we're gonna change a path on which this platform is going to be. I want to create this as the most direct, most action-oriented channel, and that's coming. It's coming. Thank you. Bye.